Welcome to Doug in Exile. We're going into the new news today of a great expansion of the investigations that are coming, which will lead to arrests. I'm going to make my case. My other case is that you've been lied to about this stuff, that nothing's going to happen. Not true. This time it's different. You've also been lied to that something is going to happen with the Epstein files. I'm going to show you by the end of this show how that is the only distraction that can really stop these other investigations after real criminals doing active crimes today, destroying your country. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the Happy Patriots are. I hope you'll let me make my case. I've got an incredible quote by Dan Bongino, video clip coming up. Here's Jay Schellenberger, who's one of my favorite journalists. He helped break the Twitter files, a great journalist on Jesse Waters about the expansion of cases from John Bolton.
Do you think this is a prelude to Brennan, Clapper, Comey, a lot of the other rapscallions who conspired to sabotage the presidency?
I mean, look, I've been told, and I'm sure you've heard this too, is that the Trump administration is serious. The Department of Justice is serious. The FBI is serious about prosecuting the Russia collusion hoax. That is what it looks like. And when you kind of look at the whole thing, I mean, to some extent, they're making it up as they go along. But I mean, we had emails, we had intelligence released a couple of weeks ago that suggested that Adam Schiff, that a conversation with Adam Schiff where he said that they were looking for, you know, maybe not criminal prosecution, but possibly impeachment. That was way back in 2017. Get to 2019, they get that first impeachment. And you see Bolton again saying, you know, he's being very creative in his book, describing all the ways in which he thought that Trump should have been charged up with impeachment, or the impeachment process should have gone, and criticizing the Democrats for making their scope too narrow. He wanted it to just be around a whole set of decisions that John Bolton happened to disagree with and make that the basis of impeaching the president.
Okay, so this is about we're going after Clapper. They will get him. This should be expansive. You have to take your time on it, be thorough, obviously. Now, here's Abby Phillips claiming she saw nothing. They got nothing on Obama, according to her.
There is no evidence that there was some top-down order of political retribution in either the Obama or the Biden administrations. I'll concede to you that
Donald Trump made up like the Russian hoax, and they used information to go after Donald Trump to try to undermine his entire presidency. Okay. And they all signed their names.
So this is the two narratives, right? This guy on the left there, Ben Ferguson, is correct. There's absolute evidence that Obama did what he did. And then this is what mainstream media is doing at CNN with Abby Phillip. There's nothing there. There's no evidence.
A second to talk or no?
No, but like you can't say that didn't happen.
Listen,
it happened.
The Russia hoax. First of all, was Donald Trump prosecuted?
They did it to impeach him. He was impeached.
He was impeached. Did they prosecute?
Over it.
Okay, so
That's a big deal. It's called overthrowing the will of the people.
First of all, he was impeached over his handling of Ukraine. He was not impeached over the Russia investigation.
A perfectly good phone call, which, by the way, became accurate on Hunter Biden.
The second thing is, let me just read to you a list of people that Donald Trump and his top cabinet secretaries have said are going to be the subject of investigations.
Okay, now, so I'm trying to give you the news of the Trump agenda. This will give you the Trump agenda. This is the list of the people they have said they're going to investigate. That has to lead to grand juries, and then that will lead to some kind of an indictment. Okay, so, but it takes time, especially the grand jury part. Select the grand jury. They're not allowed to talk about it. They're not allowed to influence them. And then the grand jury comes back with a neutral, bipartisan opinion on the matter, allegedly. But listen to this list. Epstein's not on this list of arrests that they're going after. This is, but we do have to go through this entire list before the country can be healed, fixed. And you can't have political parties like the Democrat Party go after someone like Trump or a political opponent ever again.
Special counsel Jack Smith, former FBI Director James Comey, former CIA Director John Brennan, Senator Adam Schiff,
Yeah.
AG Letitia James,
They lied.
President Barack Obama,
Yeah, they abused their power.
Governor Phil Murphy,
love this
and
list.
Representative Monica McIver.
Let's
so
go.
there is a
Act Blue, Lisa Cook. Missing on this list is Alvin Bragg, Fonnie Willis, but you see the who's who. These are all the video people we've been covering. I have not once done a video, by the way, on that New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. I don't even know who he is. Maybe you guys in the chat can tell me, give me some backfill on that, because I need to do a bit of an investigation on him. But the other ones, I mean, I've done over 30 videos. By the way, our channel's about to pass 3,000 videos that I've made. I've done at least 20 on Jack Smith, Comey, Brennan, Schiff, Letitia James, Obama. So I've got all those covered.
that comes right from the top. I'm not making this up.
They put themselves on the list because
they put themselves on the list. This isn't just coming from Trump. They did the crime. And by the way, that list should be about twice as long. Brennan wasn't on that list. Clapper wasn't on that list. I believe Merrick Garland, 100%. Christopher Wray, Christopher Wray is not coming out on the news, though, and trying to defend his character. That's where all these other guys are getting into trouble.
Weaponize the government to attack their political opponents.
So in one case, let me just say.
Look at the lady on the right. There's a look. She's all trying to keep her mouth shut.
In one case, you all are making connections based on conjecture. In another case, Donald Trump is just saying the thing. So those are two very different situations. Okay, the IRS.
So Obama didn't know what was going on in his government? He didn't know what his.
If you can provide me proof that Barack Obama directed the IRS to go after Tea Party groups, I will.
Okay. This is about when Barack Obama had the IRS remove 501c3 status to pro-life groups and pro-gun groups. They slow-walked their approval for getting charitable status or non-taxable status. If you were a left-wing environmentalist organization, you instantly went through. You know how this works. Now, her claim is, if you can give me evidence that Barack Obama pulled the trigger on that and told people what to do. First of all, when you're running a criminal organization, the number one thing, the reason why you won't find many emails from anyone doing their job, getting a command from top down, you won't often find emails from George Soros saying, go get these people, kill these people, undermine this thing. It's if you're a good leader, you hire people below you. This goes for Trump, Obama, Biden, George Soros, Elon Musk. If you're running an organization, you shouldn't have to micromanage your team and tell them what the agenda is. All you have to do is be Barack Obama, hire a bunch of leftist Marxists, and they go do your marching orders without being told. Does that make sense? Trump shouldn't have to go and tell Pam Bondi, write this on a Post-it, get 3 coffees, and investigate Comey or Clapper. She should already know that. If you have the right person on the job, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Tulsi Gabbard, if they get off mission, you've got the wrong person. Like Elon Musk will fire you if you're not doing the right things for his company. That's why my excuse for why Barack Obama never had to tell the IRS, go after pro-life groups. Duh. They're Democrats. This is also my thing on, you'll never find an email from George Soros telling Ruby Friedman to do whatever or change this machine. It doesn't exist, because if you hire the right Democrats, they already know to do everything you can. If you're a ballot adjudicator, they already know any ballot that has a vote for Trump, you adjudicate it hard, and any ballot for Biden, you go, yeah, that mark is close enough, that's a vote. You saw the same thing with the hanging Chad thing going all the way back to Bush versus Gore. As soon as you have a Democrat looking at it going, that hanging Chad, is that a vote or not? Well, it's a vote for Bush. Oh, that's not a vote. That hanging Chad, is it a vote or not? Well, it's a vote for Al Gore. Yep, that's a vote. Call the press, tell them they're removing these votes. You guys know this is about bias.
See that to you immediately.
You can provide me proof that Donald Trump
doesn't
called
exist.
the FBI today.
Yeah, it doesn't. She says the document doesn't exist. Here's Hugh Hewitt on Letitia James. This is about the people that I want Trump to stay focused on. Letitia James, one of the most egregious using the New York corrupt court system. Listen to Hugh Hewitt on how Letitia James, they've got her on the Constitution.
It's a huge thing, Brett. And the key phrase is the one you read, violates the 8th Amendment. That opens up the door, and I hope the president walks through it, to a 42 U.S.C. 1983 action against the Attorney General and Judge Engoron who was sort of a Looney Tunes character through this whole thing. Of all
violates the 8th Amendment. Now, this is Hugh Hewitt, an old buddy of mine. I used to be on his radio show. He was very kind to me, and he kind of went rhino. He's just an old school Beltway Republican. He's mainstream. That's why I like quoting him on this stuff, because if Hugh Hewitt is saying 8th Amendment Constitution, which is that unfair, outrageous punishment penalty that she and Engeron put together, he said they've got her. And remember, he's also got a legal background. I can't remember who he clerked for. I think it was Scalia, but I don't remember. Anyways, I could be wrong on that. Anyways, he's the guy that knows all the legal side. I've learned from him for 25 years on all this stuff. If he's saying they've got Letitia James, they've got Letitia James.
the lawfare waged against Donald Trump, this proceeding in New York was the most ridiculous. No victims, no injuries, nothing, and a $500 million fine for that reason. The court was embarrassed into withdrawing it. Even if they're Democrats, they had to do it. And I hope the president goes back for the millions of dollars the interest on his bond cost him. This is the first of many wins he will enjoy because the New York judicial system is so badly broken.
Ah, yes, it is broken. Wow, listen how froggy my voice is, man. I was coughing all night. Okay, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the Democrats and the people that are not on board with the MAGA agenda are going to try to distract you with this. This is, I believe it's a big nothing. Here, just in, Trump's Department of Justice releases redacted transcripts and audio recordings of interviews with Ghislaine Maxwell. I just want to go to you guys on the news cycle, because I'm here to give you the news that's important, that you need to know, that's going to change this country, help Trump, save America. This has nothing to do with that. This is a distraction. Trump and the Department of Justice were pressured by this giant online explosion about Epstein over the last 6 months. They had to do this, okay? And including getting pressured to go and interview Ghislaine Maxwell. And they ended up sending her to a softer prison, even though she's the only one who's in prison for trafficking people. They now just lightened her sentence. That's what all this work does, is it makes it, the one person who got nailed for trafficking children just got a lighter sentence, an easier prison term. And she's hoping to get a pardon from Trump. She ain't going to get it. She's guilty. So the Department of Justice releases all these files. Again, I don't like causing wars with other channels. I'm not going to ever name names. But go look at all the thumbnails that have Ghislaine Maxwell on them, where they're trying to get you to watch them because they know this is a juicy story for people obsessed with tabloid. I don't judge people who are obsessed with tabloids. I get it. I love reading the tabloids. I'm only saying it's a distraction from the Trump agenda. Okay, I will continue to report to you this news. The Trump's Department of Justice released the Ghislaine Maxwell interviews. I looked at them. There's nothing there. No evidence. Nothing that can be, no new, that's my whole point. There's no new information on this stuff. Nothing new. It's a waste of time. And it's going to end up undermining, if we spend any time focusing on that. So this is a Democrat plan. That's to me the news I'm giving you. This is a Democrat plan to distract from Trump going after the real people we need to be going after. Barack Obama, Letitia James, Fauci. There's a list of 20 people and they're understaffed. This is hours of so much movement happened on Ghislaine Maxwell, a waste of calories. And they don't have enough people to pull it off. Now, here's NBC News. This is going to make my whole point. I just want you to think of, what did shows promise you was going to come when they said, we're going to get the Ghislaine Maxwell, we're going to interview her? What did they promise you? And then what did they deliver? I'm going to show you what they deliver. I told all of you guys, this is a waste of time. And again, I lost hundreds of subscribers of people that want to remain blind and dumb and off topic from MAGA. I'm sorry. I don't want to control your life. I want you to have fun. If you want to be obsessed with stuff, get obsessed with it. This is what actually came out of the interview. And I want to let you know, how many of you, now that you've gotten this Ghislaine Maxwell information, how many of you will change your opinion, and agree with anything she said? I don't agree with anything she says. Here's what the headline says. Ghislaine Maxwell provided no incriminating information during the meetings with Deputy AG, Attorney General Pam Bondi, on high-profile individuals who interacted with Jeffrey Epstein. The transcript shows Maxwell met with top DOJ official for a 2-day interview session last month. Okay. That was all the big news. And everyone lied to you saying something huge was coming. It's coming. No, nothing's coming. The woman thought to have the most direct knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's decades-long trafficking operation claims there was no client list, no blackmail scheme involving the Jews and the Mossad and the CIA. And to her knowledge, no high-profile Epstein associates who committed illicit acts in connection with the notorious sex offenders' crimes. There's no list of illicit acts. Do you believe her? Are you glad this came out? Did you get what was promised? You were lied to. And lying to my audience makes me mad. I'm here to protect you from imbeciles that are misleading you into fear and conspiracies. That's according to an account provided by Epstein's convicted co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell to a top official in the U.S. Department of Justice during a highly unusual two-day interview last month, according to a transcript and audio of the conversation released Friday by the DOJ yesterday. There's no list, Maxwell told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. I'm not aware of any blackmail. I never heard that. I never saw that. I never imagined it. Why is Attorney General Todd Blanche, why are you wasting your time on Epstein? Go interview Letitia James. Go interview Fani Willis. We have limited resources. You're wasting our time. Maxwell told Blanche that during her time with Epstein, which ranged from the early 1990s to the mid-2000s, everyone's already old and practically retired who was even involved in this stuff. She never witnessed nor heard any inappropriate or criminal activity by President Donald Trump, which we already knew. Former President Bill Clinton. She said there's nothing. Now you've gotten the exclusive interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. She said there's nothing sexually inappropriate with Bill Clinton. Do you believe her? Are you glad they spent this time interviewing a convicted sex offender and a liar? Nor any of the well-known men who associated with Epstein, according to the transcript. So all I'm saying is that they're gonna waste your time on all these Epstein documents. Anything they say that you already agree with, you'll think is valid. Anything they say that they disagree with you on, you'll think is a lie. So we don't need the evidence. We don't need these. You don't need more information. Everyone's already got this theory concocted on the internet. Loose transcripts, loose information. Oh boy. I did introduce Epstein to women, but not to underage women, she said. And I did look for masseuses at Mar-a-Lago. This is so disgusting. So nothing happened. In other words, this went through the news yesterday like nothing. The buildup, they blow up last month to get on all your news feeds and get everyone excited. Oh, news, arrests are coming. No, they're not. Arrests are coming. No, they're not. Trump said so. Dan Bongino said so. Kash Patel, they said there's nothing there. They looked. There's no list. And then Pam Bondi. Everyone's like mad at her. They're ready to throw Pam Bondi, one of the most important attorney generals ever. Trump said the best ever. They're ready to get rid of her over making a mistake, saying the list was on my desk. That was sloppy. She was just listening to the entire, what she thought must be real because of the internet. Meanwhile, here's Dan Bongino. This is what is really happening.
Let me ask you about, are you going to be looking into, Kash and Pam, any potential collusion between the DOJ, Letitia James, the novel legal theory of Alvin Bragg, or Nathan Wade, or Fani Willis and the DOJ? Is that something? Has anything come up? Is there any way to determine whether or not evidence was destroyed in any of these cases?
Well, there's always a way to determine that. I don't want to comment on that specific case right now for a reason. I don't want to get.
They can't reveal. That means they're investigating all these people. He can't get into it, get ahead of it, or it'll spoil the investigation.
Head of the Department of Justice on that. But I want to say this, the FBI obviously has the public corruption portfolio. And yes, if you are a corrupt politician out there, if you are engaged in behavior, you know what you're doing, we're going to find you. I promise. No one is going to get off. The days of selecting and putting your, partisan bias on and taking care of your friends, those days are over. You know what, Sean? I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. Well, maybe outside of you and a couple of, I don't care. I didn't come here for the money. I didn't come here to make, I know.
No, you didn't go there for the money. I can tell people that for sure. No, I didn't come here to make friends.
This is a man who can't be bought. And I've had people in my chat say, Dan Bongino, he's a traitor. when he said there was no Epstein client list. He just told you the truth. And then he's refusing to argue about it in public. He's got a job to do. He's busting real bad guys. He's going after real investigations. These guys, I trust these guys. They know what they're doing. If he said there was something there on Epstein, and he said, we really got to pursue this, I'd believe him. But you can't tell me when he says, I looked, there's nothing there. We have other stuff, real important stuff to do. I don't believe he's covering anything up. People who go and impugn this man's character and say he's part of the inside scam to cover up Epstein and distract us from the real victims, the pedo ring that's across the entire United States. No, there's 300,000 children that Homan's trying to save. They're on the real ring with the illegals. It's not the secret. I see all the internet videos, guys. They're all just, these are invented in search of puppet show TV shows. I'm here to deprogram you, to open your head, to heal your mind. I don't even try and convince you. I'm just trying to say, we'll let the evidence, when the evidence comes out, I have not seen one new piece of evidence on the Epstein files in 5 years. Not one new fact has come into my head as I look at every investigation, not one new photo, one new video, one new victim, one new criminal, not one. So I'm very skeptical when someone says, this time, Doug, this time, new information is coming for reals. Dan Bongino, go bust Letitia James. We know there's something there.
Give a damn about friends. I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. I got my wife, I got you, and I got a small crew of people. So I don't need any friends. But if you're
want
a
a friend in
politician,
DC, get a dog.
We're coming for you.
That'll help.
Yeah, exactly. You want a friend in DC, right? Go get a Labradoodle like I have, because there are no friends in DC. You've been doing this, what, 30 years? There are no friends here.
He's not here to make friends and glad hand people or be famous. There's only one key thing in public right now that can stop him. Here's Politico on what can stop him. Epstein files land on Capitol Hill. This is the big headline today. Now comes the waiting game as congressional Republicans and the DOJ coordinate on redactions. There's Thomas Massey, who hates Trump, off topic, trying to get you to look at the Epstein files. A headline on Politico, run by Democrats, getting you off topic. Congress has officially received the first batch of Epstein files. The Justice Department turned over a tranche of materials related to the case against the late convicted offender Friday afternoon. These documents, transmitted in compliance with a subpoena issued earlier this month by the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, represent only a portion of what DOJ has in its possession, and it's not immediately clear what sort of information lawmakers currently have available to them. So no one knows what's in them. It's unclear to them. The documents are expected to have heavy redactions, which is all we've seen to protect victims. The children, the girl children, they don't want to abuse them by releasing their names. The Oversight Committee now plans to review the materials with both Democrats and Republicans have access, while under typical arrangement, the majority, in this case the Republicans, would control its disclosure. Either party could release the material. So Republicans are going to look at it, decide what you can see, then it goes with the Democrats, and both parties can disseminate it out to the news and distract you from the real arrests. This is a threat because of the power that Epstein has in our culture, the power of these licentious scandal stories. Committee Republic, although it has no power now, I'm helping deflate this thing, guys. We're letting the air out of it. Committee Republicans have pledged to coordinate with the Justice Department to protect the identities of victims, yes, and ensure certain details to not complicate ongoing criminal matters. So there's people being investigated probably for other fraud, could be Bill Gates, for instance, and they don't want to complicate the other matters by revealing all these things, because we want to get them for crimes they're doing today, not a dead case from 20 years ago. A spokesperson on the panel's chair, Rep. James Comer, who we trust, said in a statement that DOJ's production of materials Friday contains thousands of pages of documents. The committee, and by the way, Comer released these things, totally dragged his feet on it, totally just going, we're going to be transparent about it. He has to do it because he's serving the people. Quote, the committee intends to make these records public After thorough review to ensure any victims' identification and child abuse materials are redacted, the spokesman said the committee will also consult with the DOJ to ensure any documents released do not negatively impact ongoing criminal cases and investigations. Democrats also intend to review the files, so they'll be throwing these all over the media, all over trying to get voters on the Democrat side before releasing them publicly, according to a person familiar with the oversight Democrats planning, speaking on condition of anonymity. We just received the first batch of Epstein files from Trump's Department of Justice. So Trump is doing his job of being transparent. That's fine. What bugs me is the amount of resources put on this. Our team is beginning a careful review process. We will share additional information, says Robert, Democrat of California. One person familiar with the transmission of the files granted anonymity said the tranche encompasses more than 33,000 documents from that court case. Now, I'm going to ask you guys in closing here, you can tell me in the chat below, how many resources should Trump and the Department of Justice give to reading and going over those 33,000 documents? And how many of them should go over the 10,000 documents involved in Obama, the Russia collusion hoax, Clapper? Because it's either or. It's you don't have unlimited resources. They've all been complaining about, they've cut 75% of the Democrats out of 50 to 75% of the Democrats out of their own departments. They have to hire new people to come in. They can put them on Epstein, or they can put them on Obama. They can put them on Ghislaine Maxwell, going over all those files, or they could go find Fani Willis's emails colluding with Jack Smith and the Biden department over a formal trying to perform an insurrection against Donald Trump. Which way do you go, Western man? I think the Epstein files is the biggest Democrat fraud, made up Scooby-Doo. I don't even know if there's anything there. I have not seen a single piece of information. If I do get anything and I'm wrong, I will be glad to come out. I'll do a show on it. Guys, I was wrong. Look at this stuff. But the strategy is to go after the things that we do know. I hope you guys will trust me on this one, because I'm not sold out. I'm not looking for agreement either. I know this thing only costs me money and only costs me subscribers, and that's okay. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to bring you the news and tell the truth and give you a real good strategy for Trump. Get Clapper, get Christopher Wray, get Merrick Garland, or you don't have a country. I'm Doug in Exile. Subscribe.